everybody just threw away on the side
Oh
of the road.
no. Oh my
So we had to
God.
like organize, we had to call police. Police came, they called the pet shelter. And yeah, we just got them,
Wow.
organized, we had to call police. Police came, they called them
Why
like
am I
the
hearing an echo?
pet wait shelter. Because
Click
I didn't
if
mute
you
the
want to
YouTube. Hi
switch.
everyone.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's it.
Yeah, I'm just going to mute it and I'm going to open it
Okay.
on my phone, always the same. See, technology, please befriend me. I love you, technology. Be friendly with me.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are fashionably late. Oh, Patrick is here. Hey, Patrick, can you hear us?
Oh, Patrick. Hi, honey.
I think he can hear us because he said hello. Hello. I can hear Patrick saying hello. I know how he says this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we fashionably late because we were trying to organize the technology, and hopefully you can see it on the screen. Julie is going to take me her guinea pig. Oh, looks and sound great. Good. Thanks, Patrick. Yeah, I'm going to be Julie's guinea pig today, and she's going to show us how to use the oracle. But Julie, let's not go ahead of ourselves
Right.
because yes, we know each other, we love each other, but just in case for people who join in or for people who will be rewatching, if they don't know you, you are a creator of some amazing decks. I have them all, I realized. So there's, except for the Blue Moon, but it's
Yeah.
similar to, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like
It's,
the
yeah.
Ancestral Path Tarot, if anybody doesn't know this deck, you can still get it. The Journey into Egypt, Maat Tarot, and one of my faves, which I have in this bag with the Amanita Muscaria. It's the Real Sky Astrology Tarot, which is your newest creation. I mean, now we cannot say it's the newest because we will be talking during our this chat about your newest creation, which is called the Real Sky Astrology Oracle of the Great Year. And
Yes.
you know that I'm a big fan of your work, and In Between the Worlds is here as well. And a lot of people from our community like just really respect what you do. And like we just love Julie. Like you are our like favorite. I don't even want to say Mama Julie because you never feel like Mama. You feel like a friend slash teacher slash
Yeah.
yeah, a little bit of mom.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit of mama.
A
I
little
can't
bit of
help it.
mom.
I'm old enough to be all your mamas. So
Yes, you
yeah.
could be our mamas. Yes, but we know that you're really open with sharing your expertise. You've created amazing decks and passion, like your passion has evolved into astrology. And starting with the Real Sky Astrology Tarot, which Julie, I use in all my True Sidereal astrology readings.
Cool. That's cool.
So thank you for creating this because it's amazing. Now you kind of you've done the tarot and now you moved on to an oracle deck. So can you introduce us because it's just came out really. You can
Yeah.
just can you purchase already all of the cards? They already?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes. You
all of
can
the cards
purchase
are
all the
already.
cards.
Yeah, so please
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about the oracle and what it is and what people, can expect from it.
Let me just grab some. Okay, what this is the Oracle, and it is 26,000 years of precession, really. And um, it all goes together in a little rainbow set.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're all there, and I have them all, but you can also get them without the boxes, which is much cheaper. Like you can get all 432 cards now, and you don't have to get the boxes, which is a significant savings. And then you can have all the cards, and soon you'll be able to get all the books because they're all really kind of put together. They just need really basic editing.
Yeah.
And we're up to the age of Cancer, and we'll be working through probably by the end of next winter for sure. And it just takes a longer time to edit than it does to finish cards. But I
Yeah.
wanted to get them out and get them used, start using them because, you know, like I create these things, but I don't always know how to use them. And
Yeah. So
it's
let me
still a
stop you.
learning curve.
Exactly. Let
Yeah.
me stop you. First of all, yes, people, you did hear right. There's 432 cards in this whole set because it's 12 sets, 12 ages, 12 sets of 36 cards each. So how did you come to have 36 cards in each set? Why 36?
Well, it's such a beautiful little square. I mean, if you can see this design behind me, that's basically the layout for these cards. And if you look on the
Yeah,
graphic
the bottom.
below, you can see that this is the layout for the cards. And I made this little um, spread cloth so that people could see how the cards lay out instead of just opening a pack of cards and going, "What am I supposed to do with this?" And um, especially because there's not a lot of books out yet. There's only like 5 books out.
Exactly. So maybe
So,
we do a little introduction into the ages, like what are 12 ages? Because for people who might not maybe be familiar with astrology or be familiar with just tropical astrology, they might not know about precession or, how.
right.
So maybe you can like introduce us just like briefly to what are we talking about? Like what are astrological ages? Is it okay?
Okay. Yeah. We're talking about the precession of the equinoxes, which is um, basically people who were watching the sky over a vast amount of time. And they would align their temples to these stars that were rising, noticed that the temples were no longer aligned to the stars. And over a long period of time, they realized that there's this thing called precession. And it's a very slow slipping back. Every 72 years, you lose a degree. And over 26,000 years approximately, you would go through the whole cycle of the zodiac at equinox. You would see a new constellation rising above the horizon, and that would be your 12th house. So if you're looking at the eastern sky just before the dawn, when you can actually still see constellations, you'd be gazing at this equinox dawn, like pre-dawn, and this constellation would be in your 12th house. It would be in the 12th house. Um, and the rising sign would be where the sun is. So when I created these cards, I came into it thinking, well, do the houses change or how does this work? Because I didn't know. And so over time, I realized, the grid of the houses is a solid framework that does not change because that 12th house at equinox is always going to be the God house. And that is always going to be the connection and the description of the connection to the eon, the gods of the eon, right? So, with that premise, I was able to move forward more logically. And and then it was easy. I just was able to put all the signs in whatever house they needed to be in and having that framework. And so basically, like in my book, I showed the little graphic and I did a timeline of the 26,000 years and like sort of moving backwards. This starts moving backwards from the Aquarian age where we are now because the sun is in Pisces. You can't see Pisces. You can no longer observe Pisces. So we're definitely in the age of Aquarius, the age of knowing, the age of information, and we probably have been here for a while.
So let's like make it maybe even more understandable for people. So if you wake up on the spring equinox, you go outside, you actually wait for the sunrise.
No, you before the sunrise.
Yeah, exactly. Because when
You're out there, yeah.
the sunrise, then you have already like actually Aquarius is already there. Yeah,
Yeah.
Pisces is still there when it's sunrise, yes, but before the sunrise, Aquarius is rising.
Pisces would be completely obliterated by the sun.
By the sun.
Because
So
the
it's
sun is in Pisces.
Yeah. So basically,
At
people
equinox.
who would be watching, they wouldn't be seeing Pisces right now because the sun would be blinding the stars of Pisces. They would be looking at the stars that are showing up before the sunrise. And what they would be seeing right now, they would be seeing the constellation of Aquarius. And that
That's
would
right.
be the age of Aquarius for
That's
them,
right.
right? And for us,
Yeah,
basically.
that's right. For us,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so I hope people get it, that like they would have to go out, spring equinox, wake up before the sunrise, see what constellation rises that you can still visibly actually see with your eyes. And the
Exactly.
sun comes up, and even though the stars of Pisces are with the sun, because people do two ways, right? There's this heliacal rising, so it's just before the sunrise, or they say that sometimes the constellations are not so clearly cut off of one another, so they actually count the one which is with the sun because that's the one that's with the sun, so sun rises in it. But I think the ancients probably would be seeing what
Yeah.
it would be
Yeah.
visual.
The observers of stars would be seeing the constellation Aquarius on the horizon.
Yeah.
And with that premise,
Sorry, Julie, like I actually heard that like one lady is claiming that we are in the age of Aquarius for maybe the last 500 years or so, because that's when
so.
the stars of Aquarius were visible before. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
I was just
I'm
like,
thinking with
wow,
the
okay.
beginning of the printing press. Once we had the printing press, we had the beginnings of this. It was the first inkling, the first change of color as we moved, into a different age. It has this slow moving thing. I would
when
agree with her.
technological revolution and all of like just very, I mean, okay, we can,
Yeah.
okay, we found Uranus, and there's all these different
Yeah.
systems that explain these things differently, but it's very interesting. So it's something to ponder. Okay, I'm not interrupting you anymore.
No,
Please.
it's okay. No. Your questions are fabulous. Okay, so this is the first part of my timeline, and it goes all the way back to the age of Taurus, and then we slip into the rest of it, which is like really the rest of the 26,000 years, all the other signs.
Yeah.
And yeah. And so as I'm going through these things, and we get to like some really incredible geological things happening. And especially like the Younger Dryas, which is a turning point for people, 10,000 BC. And people start doing farming, and there's this cataclysm that happens, and whether it's a comet impact or whatever, the glaciers start to melt, right? And it's very, very cataclysmic for the earth. And it happens during the age of Leo. And you think of the change of energy between Virgo, which is very feminine, and it's during the ice age, and it's very quiet, and it's this very long era, right? And then suddenly during the age of Leo, the weather and the earth become fierce, and people have to move, and people become sedentary because it's not safe to just be nomadic, because you don't know what you're going to run into. And as I'm going through all these signs, the it's almost as if someone had created a storyboard for the history. And I don't know which came first, if it was the constellations with their story, or the story based on the constellations. I mean, I don't know. Is it the energy of the constellations, or is this a storyboard to pass on from one generation to another? I don't know. It's very, very interesting.
I've had this, this astrologer Amaya Rourke. She like is into fixed stars. I so want to fucking get a reading from her, because she works a lot with fixed stars. But she said something beautiful about like how, when Greeks fixed the zodiac and they did like the tropical type of when they actually fixed it, because they first found it from like from Egyptians, but it wasn't fixed. Egyptians were just like adjusting their calendars, right, to the
Right.
precessions. But the Greeks felt like, they can fix it, they can make it perfect, and it's perfection of a circle and these 12 signs and all of this, which, yeah, it is harmonious, perfect, beautiful. But they said like that there is this unity, and then there is fixed stars, which are informing the zodiac. So I kind of, based on what you just said, I thought like somehow, that there may be constellations inform the stories. Somehow it's, like they kind of influence how we maybe think at that particular age time. I don't know,
Yeah.
like,
It almost seemed like a record in some way.
yeah.
And like during the age of Taurus is when the pyramids were built. And the bull, the Apis bull in Egypt is Ptah, and Ptah is a craftsman god. So here we have all of this technology coming in, people building. It's the Neolithic era, and people are building these monuments that are unbelievable. Like the mathematics behind the pyramids are like unbelievable.
So
And
why did you do death in the real sky astrology? I think I asked you at some point, I can't remember. Why did you do death with the bull? I'm trying to find it, but
because the bull would be sacrificed, and then the
ah,
blood would be used as a magical tool. I mean, here's what has been coming to me lately is that the bullhead, like if you go back to Turkey with the tombs of Turkey, the ancient tombs, they have bullheads in them, and the bullheads represent these pregnant bellies. So when the high priest would be sacrificing these bulls, they were in fact creating their own menstrual cycle. They were using the blood of the head of the bull is shaped like a uterus. And this was the closest they could get to creating the blood magic that women have had for centuries.
that's interesting too. Yeah.
Yeah. And even if you look at the constellation of the bull, it's the shape of the vulva that has been from ancient times. All it's in the artwork, in the stone artwork, it's everywhere. If you follow
Yes,
Max Dashu, she talks about
uterus.
the vulva patterns that are carved into the rocks, and people would touch them for power and for fertility. So this is really, this is the ages of the goddess. When you get past the age, before the age of Leo, you get all of the feminine ages. And once you get past the age of Scorpio and Imhotep, or Scorpio and the serpent bearer, you get to the age of Capricorn. And during the age of Capricorn is a masculine sign again. There is evidence that there was farming 12,000 years before the farming really took place. There's this place called the Ohalo too, and it's in the Levant. It's in the Middle East, right on the Sea of Galilee, I think. And it is a settlement of a very small group of people who were settled, and they were farming. And then farming disappears for 12,000 years and pops up again after the Younger Dryas. So these masculine signs have got technology, and they've got like power over nature, whereas during the feminine signs, people are living more in harmony with nature. It's just it was very like chilling for me to work through these times, because especially with the age of Scorpio and the age of Libra and the age of Virgo, there was not very much going on, and I had a hard time finding things. And then during the age of Scorpio, I found that someone has discovered that some of these ancient caves, um, the one in France,
La,
Lescaut,
yeah, Lavaux,
yeah,
yeah, Lascaux.
yeah,
Whoever speaks
he's
French,
this
please forgive us.
right. This amateur archaeologist has found that these paintings in this long tunnel of paintings are star maps, and that these animals are aligned with stars, but they've got moon cycles where when these animals were gestating and when they were giving birth. and it's written down by slashes and circles and Y shapes. And the Y shape is the giving birth time. And these things were painted probably by women because the handprints on the walls are small and they mean something. So they were tracking the gestation periods of the cattle and the horses. And coincidentally, the cows had the same gestation period as human women did. So
Yeah.
they were tracking these things with the moon. So the moon was very important, and the moon comes out at night. And, it's the star study and it's the moon study, and it's been with us for a long time.
So Julie, in your, like, I just went through Lulu, and you said that there's like moon cycles for each signs, that this is what you mean, like the gestation cycle and like giving birth cycle. Like, what's the moon cycle for each sign? Because
Oh, okay. With the cards, you mean?
yeah,
For
yeah.
each? Okay. So with each of the 30, there's 36 cards, right? And 8 of those cards are moon phases. So
Okay.
I have the moon phases in the signs and with an interpretation, and that's part of the reading. So when you lay out the cards, you align the card to what your moon sign would be. And so I actually have to use like 2 sets of cards to do an actual reading. So I would use your sun sign. And if your rising sign is different than your sun sign, then I would be using whatever age your rising sign is connected to.
And here,
Do
of
we
course,
want to,
we are
do
talking
we want to
about,
work on yours?
yeah, but we're talking true sidereal rising and sun
Yes,
sign,
true
right?
idea.
Because if
Yes,
you do
yes.
tropical, then it wouldn't line up. So just for people
No,
to know, they have to do like find the constellational, like
right.
what constellation was rising or what constellation was your sun actually in when you were born.
Yeah,
Cool. So,
yeah.
like, just so not to lose people who, for example, like, feel like we're talking mumbo jumbo because they're not into astrology that deeply, even though I think a lot of your children are here, so they know.
Gather round, children. Grandma's talking.
But I'm also thinking, people will rewatch and they like, I don't know what these two are talking about. Like, or like, I think we're trying
Yeah,
to explain it pretty simply. But my question is, okay, so we have all these humongous ages, which our brain often like we don't even like imagine that amount of time.
right.
2,600 years, it's for our brains a bit like, what?
26,000 years. 26,000 years is like,
26,000 years, exactly. So
yeah,
it's for our brain
like,
is like what I don't, like we don't go there. So how can we, like, I'm sure like you, even though you're an eyeballer, but you still want like your things to be practical. Like we will do a reading on me. You show people how it works, but like
right.
people can use it right now, this oracle, nowadays, right? Like, and still
Oh
like make it
yeah,
workable.
absolutely.
Like,
The timeline, the ancient timeline is just there as a structure because when you're reading the cards, they will be practical for the now. It's it's based on history. There's history in my books, but the actual oracle itself is absolutely applicable for now. And I'm finding that when we layer up the cards in the different houses, like I'll layer up the cards, the picture cards. There's picture cards on the outside, 12 picture cards. And I will layer up those cards with the sign in the house and then also the sign where it is in a person's chart in that sign, whatever sign it is in that person's chart. But I'll layer it up both ways so that we can put them together. If,
so let's say
you
if
know,
I'm like I'm Scorpio Sun and Cancer rising in True Sidereal,
right.
then I would, let's say, purchase the Cancer age, that would be my ascendant, yes, and then the age also of Scorpio because it would be my sun, or
You would get the Gemini age of Gemini because the Cancer be rising in the age of Gemini,
because of this
right?
heliacal
Yeah.
rising.
Yeah,
So we're
because
taking like a
Cancer comes after.
before, one
Yeah,
before.
right,
Okay,
right,
okay, okay, I get it.
right. So when I do your chart, I will pull out
So
the
let's go there.
Scorpio,
Let's do
right?
it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's
Let's
do it.
do
Let's
it.
do it.
Do you
Okay.
actually
I
do you
want,
know anything else except for the sun and ascendant or moon?
I need to, yeah, well, I'll just look up your birthday on Real Sky, on the Go Skywatch app,
Yeah, okay.
and then I'll just lay out what I see. I'll just lay things out,
Yeah, and Peter said
get these
like that
things
he's
out
not
of the
sure if
way.
you can rotate the phone. Like Julie cannot rotate the phone anymore. We tried and we tried to make it
Yeah, this is all
like
I can do, but I'll try to put it in the center where we can see it a little better.
yeah,
And if you make it bigger,
and I'm going to
um,
so
right,
hopefully we
I'm
can
gonna go
that's the best we could
get
do.
into, yeah, I will go into Go Skywatch and pull up your birthday. Do you want to text that to me off camera? I mean, you don't necessarily want your birth
Okay,
stuff
I'll
coming
just
out
send it to you.
in an email because I still have my email open. That'll
In
work.
the email, okay. Or
Yeah,
okay. Um,
don't. Just leave it. I'm gonna just put it right there. Okay.
okay. So under the Zoom link, Julie, we should have done it before.
Okay.
I hope, guys, you're having fun in the chat.
Peter, entertain them.
Peter, please.
While they're waiting, say something witty. Keep people. I'm getting bored.
All right,
I'm
I
still
said
waiting
it.
for the email to come. Okay.
Yeah, it should
It
be
takes
the.
a minute. Can can you imagine how like we could never have done this 20 years ago? Like
I
you're
know.
sending me this instant message. We're talking to each other in real time. It's amazing.
Age
We
of
have full
Aquarius.
color.
Age of Aquarius.
Yeah. Age of Aquarius, baby.
We're getting
And
onto it.
still we're impatient. Where's that email? Where's that email? My networks takes a while.
Just maybe refresh it. It should.
I've been doing that in all boxes. Come on, come on. Oh, nope, that's not it. No, come on. No, no, it's still
Oh,
not
okay. I'll
here.
just say it to you. Like, I don't care.
Okay.
29th November, 75.
Okay. 29. Yeah, that's a really powerful date. 1975.
8:30 p.m.
Okay. Okay. Let's see what we have here. And if it sounds off, then we'll maybe look again. Okay, you've got Cancer rising. And it looks like you've got Cancer. Well, yeah, it's on the horizon. And you've got Saturn right on your horizon.
Yeah, Saturn rose just before me, and
Wow.
then before Saturn, Mars. I'm like,
Yeah. Your Saturn is sitting right on top of the horizon, and my Mars is right on top of the horizon. So there's action and karmic, like like karmic life pattern thing happening with us too.
yeah,
Oh wow, no wonder you're here for me.
yeah,
Woo!
and vice
Yeah,
versa.
yeah. Oh, awesome. That's very
Yeah, I never
cool.
really thought about it so much, but my Saturn is pretty well aspected. Like, I'm thinking tropical, well aspected Saturn, 12th house just before, sunrise. But it's yeah, I'm Saturnian. Like, and it just like
Yeah,
sometimes it hits me when
yeah.
I'm like, you
Life
know,
patterns. Like
yeah.
that's your work too. I mean, doing life patterns for people.
This class we have to do on Saturn, which we were supposed to do like ages ago.
Yeah.
See, it's Saturn, and we didn't even like, I didn't even think like why Saturn, but somehow it came up. Like, let's do
Well,
Saturn.
and my Saturn is in Ophiuchus.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Saturn
And I
patterns.
may
Like
be of you
that's
because
my
depending
thing.
on a date, bloody hell. But like when I look
Yeah.
visually my sun is obviously, in the stars of Ophiuchus and Scorpio, but it's closer to Scorpio when I'm born. Like Ophiuchus is just a little bit higher, so further away from the ecliptic. But if we remove the ecliptic and like just free ourselves of ecliptic, I'm listening a lot to Bernadette Brady, and she's just like ecliptophobia, and like let's just free ourselves of the ecliptic. There's the whole sky there. Makes me
Okay.
laugh. So yeah, I would be
I'm gonna
Scorpio
go
of
ahead
Fucus
and
for sure. I just think of
lay
myself as
these
Scorpio of
Cancer
Fucus.
cards out. I'm gonna go ahead and start laying these Cancer cards out where they
So
go.
tell us what you're doing. Like, which one did you take? Did you take the Gemini one?
I'm just taking the Cancer cards because I did I take the Cancer? No, Gemini. These are the Geminis. Yeah, first house right here. And I'm going to just start laying out the Gemini cards first
So I'm
as
going to.
a first layer. You can see that, right?
I think I
Okay.
pinned it now, but just in case people don't.
Yeah.
I see.
Let's see. Yeah, it's good. It'll fit in there. I'll make sure it fits in there.
Peter says that
Okay.
when you were doing the dry runs for him, like that you had quite a few aha moments, and you've known each other for 40 plus years.
I know, right? Right? There's always surprises, right?
Okay, so like just
Okay.
for people who don't know, like what are the houses? Because usually we used to this like middle round kind of chart like looking
Oh,
circle.
if you look at the center, the houses are in the center, and what happens is this just spreads out.
All
And
right,
these are the details. Like it's just like
get
this
it.
is the center, and then the cards spread out around. It just radiates out, and so it's the bigger details. Like you're taking an exploded look at something, and
Yeah.
this is still your horizon. And so I'm going to just start with your Scorpio cards and
So
Scorpio
Scorpio,
Ophiuchus
because
cards.
I'm the my son when I was born was in the constellation of Scorpio, Fucus slash
Yeah.
like this. Yes.
I will use like the center cards from the age of Gemini because that's your layout, that's your rising sign. And then I will just use the moons from the Scorpio age. And that will
And you
help me
say that Gemini,
lay
because
this
like just
out.
for people, Julie, if they confused, so you say again, we can repeat it that like my rising is in Cancer, but
Right,
probably the visible stars were in Gemini. They were rising.
right. The
Yeah.
the 12th house would have Gemini occupying there,
Okay.
even though it's a little bit overlapped because it's nuanced.
Yeah.
So I'll just shove that up a little bit, maybe overlap it a little bit, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it'll just give you this lovely picture. All right. So all these center cards are Age of Gemini because this is your layout. This is your Cancer rising here. And then Gemini is in the 12th house. And it should line up with your pretty closely to your regular chart. And I will go ahead and get the moons out of this age of Scorpio because that's what we're looking for.
I don't know.
And I will,
Can you guys see the bigger picture? Like I'm putting like
yeah, I can.
spotlight, I'm pinning it, but on YouTube I see us. I don't know, or is it?
Oh, I'm seeing the big picture.
Oh, you
Maybe it
seeing?
just is a
Okay, good,
time
good.
lapse. Yeah, I do see.
Okay, I see
All
it now.
right.
Okay.
Okay. So the sun is in Scorpio. And so the new moon would be in Scorpio. So I'm going to do this. And Nekabet
I think I was born in the
here.
balsamic moon.
Yes, you were. So your moon is going to be right in here. Like it's, where's your moon? Let me look at my, here, let's see. Yeah, you said that it was. And this says your moon Virgo.
Yeah, moon is in
So
Virgo. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing this. So that's like that's a waning moon, right? The balsamic moon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just before the new moon, but dark phase.
Right. Right. It's that wonderful banishing place, like the ability to banish. You would have that ability to banish.
Yeah. And people can see the images, but like we cannot really see the cards well, like it's a bit far away.
Yeah, not a big close up.
Because the
Yeah.
iPhone you said is on the tripod, maybe you can shorten the legs of the tripod
Um,
to bring it
I
closer.
I'll try doing that. Let me lay out the cards and then I will do
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
No, it's okay. This is a bit of a learning
That's good,
curve for
but
me too. These are my first readings. Let me like lay everything out and I'm going to go back and use the gods from the age of Gemini so we can get an idea of masculine and feminine energies in your life because the gods have got like it's almost like a picture puzzle.
isn't it a
You'll
bit
see,
confusing like that
no,
the
because this lines
ascendant
up,
is in Cancer, but
yeah,
so people will always have to go one sign before.
yes, it's
Okay.
okay.
It's okay. Do
It's okay.
it.
You got this lovely like place, like the lineup of the masculine and feminine energy. Where the masculine and feminine signs meet is where the Milky Way is. And so I'm laying out the cards from the age of Gemini because they line up with your cards.
Love the colors.
It's fun, right?
Yeah.
Okay, they're all there. And then I will add the Scorpio cards as a second layer because this will give us a reading.
I have no idea what you're doing. I mean, you're pulling cards, but
I'm
like, yeah,
I'm
it's
I'm
still
adding
confusing.
I'm adding the Scorpio cards as another layer um to these Cancer rising cards. Which, this puts an emphasis on your rising sign, just like the Vedic astrology does.
Yeah. They
You
usually
know?
put a lot of emphasis on the moon and the rising, yes, because it's much more personal
Yeah,
when you think of it. Even in
it
tropical, if you
is.
use it, it's still like ascendant gives you the time of birth, right? So it's very personal. Moon changes signs so much often, like your sun, 30 people, like 30 days of the sun in one
Yeah.
sign, right? So a lot of people
Okay.
can have it, whereas the moon and ascendant, they make it really personal.
Sun in Scorpio. Sun is in your seventh house. So partnerships. No, where is Scorpio? Where are
No,
you?
sun is
No, it's in
depending
the
on,
fifth house.
yeah.
The fifth
And
house.
even
Okay.
in the true sidereal astrology, that the system that I'm using, it's in the fourth.
Oh, okay.
But I
Well,
I
I've
I don't
got you
know.
in the fifth. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've got
I
you in the
feel
fifth.
fifth is definitely suits me better.
Like, yeah, creativity and spontaneous love affair kind of energy and
Yeah,
like childlike
expression.
wonder and yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then your moon is that little balsamic moon in Virgo.
And that
Virgo
came up, I
right
think,
here.
in the third.
Yeah, this is in the third, Virgo. Yes. And we know that Saturn is right here on the horizon. And oh, what's conjuncture? You've got a conjunction of the Sun and Mercury.
I have,
So
yeah, because you're
Mercury,
not using
yeah.
the Neptune. I have Sun, Mercury, Neptune conjunction.
I see Neptune too, so I'm going to put Neptune in. Neptune goes off. Look at all this stuff going on in your fifth house. Crazy. Okay, and you've got Uranus near the moon in Virgo. Out
So
of
what are you putting now?
communication.
Are you putting
I'm
like a
putting the
little,
planets. I'm putting little planets. Like I have these little, um, these tiny little.
Uh-huh. Oh, so
charms
cool.
for
Yeah.
each of the planets. And I'm just putting them in the center so we can see your chart. And then we can spread out and
Uh-huh.
look. I actually like bought these charms. I don't remember, like somebody on Etsy had them.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's cool.
so yeah, I wish I had these. I wish I could sell these. They're really fun. So we have Venus with Virgo too.
Yeah. Venus conjunction Moon.
Yeah, let's put these two together. And then, because we're
And
eyeballing it. There's not a lot of degrees here. We're eyeballing. And
Peter, Julie's eyeballing. You the
I'm
measurer. I'm like in
eyeballing.
between.
Yeah. Okay, Mars is like right on that edge between, it's in Taurus.
Yeah, I think it's zero Gemini or end of Taurus. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's right there. So in the house of sociability, like
Yeah.
other people and sociability. That gives you your ability to be with and talk to so many different people.
Yeah.
And Jupiter in Pisces. Jupiter in
The
Pisces.
ninth,
And that's
yes.
education. That's
Yeah.
like big education. So this is part of what you do is like you teach and you educate and
In the
you've
Pisces
got
fields.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
And it's right
MC
there.
changed. In tropical, I have MC in Aries, and in sidereal, I have it in Pisces. So
Yeah,
that's
it's in Pisces.
interesting. Yeah.
And I'll even put in your Pluto. If I can find it. Where is Pluto? It's in
In
a weird
Virgo.
place.
In
It's in
Virgo, in
Virgo,
the
but it's
third house.
almost in Bernice's hair is like where it is.
Yeah.
We don't have a place for Bernice's hair, but we'll just put that Pluto there too.
Oh, thanks for adding Pluto. I love him.
Yeah, I have the charm. I have the charm,
I
so why
have the
not?
charm.
Yeah, the charm is there, so we'll use it.
Sorry,
And
guys, and
who are we
taking
missing
probably
yet?
don't get bored. Like we're going to get
Okay.
there. You can go
Oh,
get a
and
cup
that's
of
my
cup
Earth.
of
Okay.
tea.
All right. And it's all there now. It's all laid out.
So
And let
see
me
if you
see
can
if
make
I
it
can
a little bit
make it
closer
get closer.
so that we can see the table more and less of the surroundings. Is this
Okay.
tripod that I'm seeing, that's the tripod
Yeah,
that, so
that's the
can you make it
tripod.
shorter? You can make
I
it
can
shorter.
try to make the legs shorter.
Yeah,
I
that should
I
work.
hope we don't lose it. Hey, Peter, do you want to make this tripod shorter? I'll call him the tech. Can you make this tripod get closer to my table without losing picture? Like straighten out the legs. Can we get closer? I know we played around with this yesterday quite a
And that's
lot.
it. That's how close it gets. Oh, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
You can scoot it over that way just a hair. Just so I can get all those pictures in. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
It's a
not
little
closer,
better.
but it's okay.
It's not
It's okay.
closer. Yeah, if I could zoom in, but I can't zoom in. Like, you just pull this over. You
Oh,
want to
that's
try
good.
lowering it?
That's
Well,
good.
it's no, leave it because we're like right in the
That's
like
better.
if we
That's
went
good.
any
Yeah.
closer, we wouldn't be able to um see all the pictures. So
Peter to the rescue.
I know. Okay, call in the tech squad. Get the geek squad in here. I thought about using the iPad to get close, but no, don't turn that off. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
too
turning
shiny.
off it's
Okay.
better. And maybe
Yeah.
just the
Yeah.
cable, just move the
And
cable.
I can hold the card up to my camera if we
Oh,
need
that'd
to
be good.
look closer.
Or you can put the
Um,
part a bit closer to the iPhone.
yeah,
Can you
I could
pull
do
one
that.
card and put it a little bit up?
Well, let's see. We have let's look at your fifth house. It's like you've got so much going on with Scorpio and Imhotep. And um, I don't have a card for the balsamic moon, but I do have a card for the new moon in Scorpio. Um, you have, oh, I have a moon. I have a Virgo. I have a Virgo Libra moon um, card. And it says, the waning crescent moon in Virgo Libra. The great mother cults held power, responsibility, and respect. Blood mysteries are the rule of law. All beings are born from the body of the mother. Ancient descriptions of the Sky Lord hold on a feminine worldview. That's your moon sign. That's your moon card.
So so let's do a little bit of the measure. But okay, but you can't put it in instead, like, yeah, put it up with your hand up towards the iPhone.
Oh,
No. Oh no, you're not at the iPhone. No, okay. So then I would have to. Oh, yes, yes, a little bit further and to the left. Oh, to the right. To the right, to the left.
it's not in real time.
It's here.
So
Yes.
it's
Okay, I
there.
can see
Yeah,
it.
there
That's
you go.
great. Oh, can you remember this spot? You can put each card up here, and then we all can
Okay.
see the card. So the
Okay.
moon phases, you have just like text basically. And why
Yeah.
do you say like the Virgo Libra?
Um, I have it sort of on the cusp because as you can see,
Ah,
there's a line running through it.
yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of radiates down.
Okay.
And some of them are Virgo, Libra, some of them are just a single sign. I kind of, did whatever I felt at the time. So,
Yeah. So basically, if
yeah,
somebody has a moon like at the end of a constellation, let's say of Virgo, like my one
right.
is I think quite late, yes?
The
Like,
crescent moon is going to go through a couple of signs as it's going from last quarter to new. It's going to pass through a couple of signs, so it will actually pass through Virgo and Libra.
okay,
So, because the first quarter is in Leo, so he's going to hit Virgo and then it's going to hit Libra before it becomes new in Scorpio and
yeah,
Ophiuchus.
yeah,
So just to kind of sometimes I'll bring them all of them in, and sometimes I didn't. I'm being inconsistent, but you know, it is what it is.
yeah.
I have
So
to go with the muse sometimes.
so this would be like how the like my moon going through the constellation of Virgo and then through the constellation of Libra, which is next. But what's the
Right.
other sign like on like the green one, like is it Imhotep? What is it? The above
Oh,
the moon.
right. Okay, so it's running this way. So here's where your moon is, and this is the the Virgo card. And if you can see that there's like a body here running through, this is the goddess is down below and the
Ah,
god is up above. And
ah,
this is where the Milky Way runs through, right? So the Milky Way cuts between um, Scorpio and Imhotep, or the serpent bearer, and the sign of Sagittarius, which I'm calling Nekabit, the vulture. And it also runs through Gemini and Taurus. So this is where the separation between the masculine signs and the feminine signs are. So there's this feminine on the bottom, the feminine hidden, the feminine below the scene, and the
so
masculine above.
for different people, it could be different, yes? Like that the
That's
feminine would
right.
be up and let's say masculine
Right.
would be down. So
Right. Or to
when
be
you
more
say up,
balanced.
so when you say up and down, like when how I have it, let's say, so like how
It's
would you explain it? Like the down is more like it's unconscious, or is it more hidden, or like how do you see it up and down?
I would say that, um your life is kind of in a rather traditional masculine patriarchal world, and that your feminine stuff is all stuff that you have power over, that is hidden, like what you think about, what you talk about. That's all kind of like just your private world, and it's not part of your external world. This goddess stuff is not part of your external world. And your external world, what other people see other than your work is rather like traditional patriarchal stuff, according
I
to
don't
the
know if I
rising
can agree
sign.
with this. Since I'm
Well,
sitting here talking to you.
your culture might be like patriarchal, like
Yeah,
you still
I
live in a
think
man's
probably,
world.
yeah, that probably more visible. Like it's not maybe so easy also to always talk about it where I am, or
Right.
so
Yeah,
that in
that's what
this
I mean.
regards that would work out. That yeah,
Yeah. Even though you've got this masculine feminine world, or the gods are both masculine and feminine, because you've got Gemini in your house of how you connect to the universe, or how you connect to the God energy.
and how do you see Gemini? Because when we say Gemini, everybody thinks like tropical Gemini, but that traditionally it always used to be male and female, right? Energy, not to like
Right. This
Castor
is a
and
balance of
Pollux. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a balance of masculine and feminine, um and that you're more alike than different. So that is like the main energy for the connection to the universe. And at the same time, you've got this pathway between what is the external world and what is the internal world.
So
And
could you
there
pick
is
up
some,
the Gemini card and show us the Gemini card?
which
I
there's a
don't know.
bunch.
Would show
I
us
have
three.
I have the God card. The
Yeah.
God card
So Isis and
is the
Osiris.
God card.
Oh,
Yeah, Isis and Osiris.
yeah.
And then I have the Cancer rising card would be the Gemini, Age of Gemini.
Yeah.
That's the Age of Gemini connection. And then with a Scorpio, we've got this grouping of mothers and the sharing of this ostrich egg, and the twins are the babies down
Oh,
below. So there's this pod of women who take care of each other in that space.
like communal. Yeah, like community would
Right,
be important. Yeah.
right. So that's the energy overlapped with that. Like, we know that we need men to be part of our community, but really we're the pod, we're the power source.
Yeah.
And um see, I don't know what other good things are there. Like career, there's, I don't know, what do you want to see?
Maybe maybe let's go to the moon in Virgo. I'm
Okay,
still befriending my moon in Virgo versus my moon in
okay.
Libra.
Well, your moon is in the house of communication. So the house of communication, there's I've got two pictures for that one. We've got these two blended together. One is from the age of Scorpio, which is the ancient mother. All the Virgo cards are ancient mother cards in her different guises. So
Yeah.
through the ages, we have this dancing woman communicates through performance, and then this one who
Yeah.
like marks her cycles down on the horn of the moon and keeps a record. So she's recording and keeping a record, and she's also like part of some kind of record because it was painted actually on a cave. So it's an actual cave painting from the time period of age of um, Gemini.
And I think that was her who holds that horn with the 13 markings, right? I guess
It
the 13
Right.
moons,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. That one. Yeah.
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 It's
That's
like a
the ancient
timekeeper,
one.
we could say also, like,
Right. One
yeah.
of the first um, things that showed us that women were keeping track of their cycles with the moon and connecting themselves to the moon.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
if we were doing a reading like this for ourselves, we would basically just like lay out the chart, the sidereal chart with the cards, and then basically just like let the cards intuitively influence
Right.
us.
Just
Like look
read
at the
through.
images,
Right.
yeah, look at the
Yeah. Right. Just look at the images, what the images say. Um, I have an I have another overlap in my book about the hours, which is not part of usual astrology. That's another layer of complication.
yeah.
So the hours run this way. They start at the top here of what you're letting go of, guardians, shadow work as you get below the horizon. Um, and then how deep can you go? This is the depth of the depth. Um, create where you're creative. The home place is where you're creative. Where you communicate is the immortal enemy. This is like our enemies are also immortal. So
What
the
does it
immortal
mean?
enemy is
What does
there.
it mean, Julie, immortal
That
enemy?
the that everyone is immortal. Like even the people you have conflict with, you're going to continue to have conflict with them until you you resolve it. You can't just say get rid of them because they will keep coming back until it's resolved. And that's
So,
sort of really strong with your balsamic moon there. Like there's always going to be this remnant until it's resolved, whatever it is. Like there's something in your balsamic moon that there's something unresolved. Like there's one piece that's not resolved.
but it doesn't have to mean
Uh,
necessarily that like I have conflict with somebody because I can't think of anything, and always the
no,
word
it
enemy just
doesn't.
kind of makes me
Like it's
laugh
just
because
work, like whatever it is.
yeah, it could be a
So,
situation or something like a pattern or something like this, yes?
right. Yes. Yes.
Like if you
I
looked at this chart like yourself, like what sticks out to you? Like what are the points that you would go, oh, that's interesting because I don't know if it repeats itself or just like,
Well, what's interesting to me is as much as you have, like you're kind of a person who's really out there and you're like in the public eye, there's so much of you that's hidden. There's so much of you that just happens. And there's so much that you have power over, but don't share everything. You know, as much as communication is your thing, there are some things you don't say. And I think that's pretty interesting. Like that's all things that you have control over, but you're not necessarily like sharing everything you think with everyone, which
yeah,
is,
but I can choose
good.
this as a way of
Yeah.
living, right? Like it can be a choice.
Yeah. So this is the what I'm talking about for the clock.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
how an analog clock is set up? Oops,
yeah,
there. How this will run clockwise, whereas the houses run counterclockwise.
yeah. So
And so
basically, you would use these hours on top of these cards? Like that's how like the
yeah, I use
be
I
laid
have
out?
those. This is book, and so there's descriptions inside the book that give a little more nuance to each house and what's going on with each house.
So what's the
Like
shadow thingy? What's the shadow hour for me?
the shadow.
Can you
The
see?
shadow is um in your sixth house. It's the house of health, and you've got Sagittarius there. So, and my Sagittarius is um the vulture,
I love
Nephit.
them. Yeah,
I love the vulture too.
me too. It always makes
So
me
the
think of Aminat's the ear
yes,
of
yes,
this the blue vulture. I just love this guy.
yes, yeah. So I can show those pictures.
Yes, please.
So I first have just the constellation, and that
Yeah,
I always think of Patrick's card with his constellation of the vulture, and it really looks like a vulture when you look at it like it
yeah,
could be a vulture. It just really looks like a vulture. And
yeah.
then with the age of Scorpio, I have people dressing a hunter up in a coat and giving him protection to go out in and follow the vulture, because the vulture is the helper of people who are opportunists and don't necessarily want to kill something, but they need to bring home the meat.
Yeah.
And so it's, the shadow work, even though this is actually a first house card, I'm placing it in this place of shadow because that's where your Sagittarius is. So it has this combination of cards
So
for
it could
like a reading,
also
like a card reading.
so it could be also house of work as well, or do you just see it as a house of health? This,
Uh, yeah, it's definitely, your health is based on how well you deal with your shadow as well. Like your health is connected to your shadow work, because you know, everything that is unresolved will end up becoming disease. And shadow work is a way to help ease your life and get it to flow better. So you don't have any planets in that house, but it is, shadow. Everybody has a shadow. So
so what else do we have? Like, what else can we talk about? What else do you want to share? Like in the reading, like if people were like if you were advise people to do reading for themselves, like what would you say? Start with this, then go to this. Like, do
well,
you have a method
yeah,
like this, or
I do. Like most important is what is your rising sign, what is your sun sign, what is your moon sign, and then life patterns. Like what are your life patterns? Who are the people in your life? Like I just go through the planets, like the generational markers. What generation are you from? And the generational markers are right in sync with your sun. So you're like a shining example of your generation, because you've got Neptune with your sun,
yeah?
and you've got um, Uranus with your moon, and so you're really like doing your work. Saturn pattern. Your Saturn is right there on your horizon, like for everyone to see. You're looking at the patterns. You're connecting with those people outside your social circle, with Mars in the 11th house, and your teaching is, you know, this is what you're teaching. You're teaching
So
with
what cards are
Pisces right
there in?
there.
How do the cards look for the ninth house and like for Jupiter there? What did you put there?
Yeah, I have. Oh, I love this card. Um, I have Pisces. These are the Pisces cards that you have. This card is is an actual water jug from the time period, and it's magical because what they did is they used a fish bones to create a design on a jug that they would go get water with.
Wow.
And so
Yeah.
there's this sympathetic magic going on with the creating of a pot, making waves of water with a fish, with fish bones, the ribs of fish bones.
Mm.
And it's just this subtle magic that, is part of their culture. And I just thought that was so wonderful to go with Pisces
Mm.
and in the ninth house of education. Like how do you teach but by showing examples of how things are connected. And this really like showed how they connected the fish and the water and the gathering of water.
Oh, that's very me. Bring on all the astrology systems and come to me and I can connect them all. They all work for me.
Right.
No exceptions. All wonderful.
And this one too is actually like a fourth house, but it's in your ninth house because it's Pisces, and
Yeah.
it shows that there's a fish drawn on the wall, and the cave is next to the water, and it's basically saying, "Come in, enter here, and this is where you enter. This is where you go in."
I can't see exactly. Is this an animal on the right? Like
Yeah, there's a cave drawing.
the
There's a
cave?
cave drawing. It's not focusing very well, and I'm kind of
No, we can't see it
holding it
now at all.
wrong. Oh,
More towards the
I've
table.
lost it.
Oh yeah, this
Yeah.
way.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. Now
there's
it's
a there's
focusing.
a fish on the wall, and there's like a bison, and woo, and then there's fire,
Uh-huh. Okay,
and
okay,
there's a
okay.
cave wall. It's on the outside of the cave so that people know that this is a place for shelter when you're fishing.
I like it how it's like
So,
nearly like, half moon kind of, and because it's round and it's like one side is like the rock, which makes it like the dark moon and then the light moon. But it's
oh,
this
right.
kind of like connecting, always think of two fish as well, like this connecting two worlds
Yeah.
or something like this. Yeah. I think that's my talent. I love doing that. It just makes me excited, when I think of like the different approaches to different systems that work, for different people, and like how that's exciting. When the meeting of those systems, it's exciting for me. Yeah.
I said it would be easy for you it would be easy for you to read these double cards, like create just a thing where you can show what comes up. It just adds and maybe another little secret to whatever is going on in a chart, like more uh, inspiration, more words for each house or each sign in the house.
So the first circle outside the circle, it looks like with Egypt, it looks very Egyptian. Yes, there's like all these different
Right.
Egyptian
Yeah.
signs.
Those are just all of my Egyptian gods.
Gods.
So
Yeah.
you have the chart in the center, right?
Yeah.
And then you have all the Egyptian gods around the edge. And then they just sort of radiate out into a picture description. And then the moons, are around, like whatever sign they're in, whatever phase they're in, they will be in the placement. So you can see where the new moon would have been, you know, during that month that you're born. And
Just
you can see
after.
where the
Yeah.
full moon would have been during the month that you were born. So the full moon is in um,
On top there. Yeah.
up here with community, like up on top with the community and career. And so that is kind of the height of the month.
Yeah. So for people like, do you still do so we did the up and down, but do you do also the left and the right, or the, east and west? Do you separate
This
it
is
like this as well? Like, yeah, that this side of
sure,
the
this
chart
is the east. Like this is the part that you have control over. This is the part that just happens to you. This is the part that is hidden. This is the part that people see. And so, yeah, I still do it that way.
Yeah, okay. So basically, people would see more of my masculine side, and
Yes,
only those who know me would know more of my feminine side. And
exactly.
then on the ascendant, that's what they would also see more of. And on the descendant, it's what kind of happens to me, like what I don't really control so much. Yes.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So what's happening to me
Yeah.
there, Julie? Then I don't control because I hate not controlling it. It's the
Well,
shadow side.
yeah, it's that uncharted, it's the uncharted territory in your seventh house. You've got a lot of uncharted, like you don't know who you're partnering with next, you don't know what's coming up. It's sort of this uncharted territory, and you've got this the Gemini, age of Gemini, you've got climate change, and there's like places that um were habitable at one point are no longer habitable. I mean, I think of you moving from the city where you were and then needing to move to the country.
You
Like
know
that
what
was
I'm
kind of a
thinking
big
of?
deal
Like,
to you.
you know what I'm thinking of because it's seventh house, that like the
Yeah,
evolution through like relationships that are barren and like they're not really, supportive,
right.
sustainable. And then also the relationships that can flourish, that can make you flourish more. And what's this one?
This one is
Ah, oh
the,
no, that's a different one.
yeah, that's another Capricorn, and it's the woman coming across this unusual animal on her path to somewhere.
Oh, that's my
Like
husband.
the
Unusual,
surprises on the road.
unusual
Is
animal.
it? Unusual animal. Yeah, the surprises that you have on the road. I mean, that
That's,
those are the things that you don't have control over, but that would also like be okay with your fifth house sun who loves adventure and surprises.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, meeting my husband was a total surprise because I was living in Australia at the time. He was living in England. We both from the same city. We never knew each other in
Oh,
our city. I came on holidays from Australia for 2 months to Poland. He came for 3 days from England, from London, where he used to work and live. And we met in a cafe. We went for one date because he
oh
was
my
leaving later
God.
on. And then we just met a couple of times because I was staying for a bit longer. So he was coming for the weekend to Poland to just meet me. And that's how it started. So it was a total surprise. And we met in our town in
Wow.
the cafe that was called Black Sheep.
Wow, that is so cool. Like you just had to meet.
Yeah,
Like
the weird animal,
the
Black
timing.
Sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
that's
a weird
funny.
animal. There he is. He is the weird animal. Hello, weird animal.
Hello. Okay, so that came up in the seventh. So I love it like that it gives you this, like I just gave a very personal like story to it, but it's funny how the image,
How that
brings me
stimulated the
to,
image,
yeah,
right?
makes me think about it. Yeah. So what's in
Yeah.
the eighth and how do you see eighth house? Do you see it as house of death or how do you see it house of power?
Um, House of other people's resources,
Yeah.
um, but also like the parts that you don't have control of. Like it's all like a legacy house, but in with when you add in the hours, it's the thing that you have to let go of. And then you have to let go of something.
So
These are
what's
the
come?
things that you have to let go of. Um,
What do I have to let go of in this oracle set?
yeah, this one has got,
What needs to die, Julie? What needs to die?
oh, what needs to go? And it's this is a card of Aquarius and serendipity. And um, like, why would you be letting go of serendipity?
Serendipity is like
Like,
when something happens synchronistically. Is this, no, what is
yeah,
there?
yeah, that is, it's like things that just happen sort of like unexpectedly. And well, maybe
Maybe I
it's
have
letting
to take
go
more
of,
control.
right. Well, maybe it's like letting go of needing to take control and allowing serendipity to happen. Like stop scheduling so things can magically happen.
Oh no, that I would be the opposite because
Oh,
I always allow things magically to happen, and sometimes I suffer
okay.
for it.
Oh, okay.
I love
Yeah.
serendipity. Like, oh yeah, when it happens, it happens. And yes, I
Yeah.
don't plan. If you want to make a plan with me, like it could be 3 days ahead, but like if somebody wants to make an arrangement for 2 months ahead, it's like hard for me because I'm like,
Yeah,
what
me
am I
too.
going to
Me
do in
too.
2 months? I don't know. I
Yeah,
might.
no, I can't be tied down to schedules either.
So maybe for me to kind of like gain a little bit more, like be a little bit more empowered, maybe. Well, maybe I need some like balance this a little bit because that's also can be like, escapism mechanism to like, I don't want to
Right.
fucking take any responsibility for this. So like it just happens magically.
Right.
It does happen magically.
Maybe, maybe.
So what's the other one?
Yeah. The other one is um pictures from I think it's from Gobekli Tepe, and they're menstruating women, and it's connected to the moon. And I also have like a bone that has markings in it again. So it's the
Mm.
flow. The word is flow for this one. And it is actually a third house card for the age of Scorpio. But because of your rising sign, it ends up in this house of legacy. So there's this flow to legacy for you. And
Oh,
things
interesting. The
that are
flow.
supposed to happen will happen. And they will come in their own timing. Like you can't rush it. You have to allow it to unfold, kind of thing.
Maybe that's the message, like the magical timing, you know, like that, not me really like wanting to control it, which maybe, you know, because of this masculine on top, I would like to
Right.
steer it
Right. Be
somehow.
logical. Be
Yeah,
logical and control it.
maybe that's
Yeah.
the
Let
serendipity
it flow, let it
and
go.
flow together. But this is what has to die. So if we pull this as like, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, it is like,
It's interesting, you know, like we might not like
yeah,
come to it, but like it's something to think about.
yeah. Separation from, hmm, separation from the
If
flow.
anybody has any ideas, then
I don't
share in
know.
the
We'll see
comments.
how that plays out.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Timing, timing. Or maybe not worry so much that there won't be perfect timing.
Mm,
Just, you know, to let go of that need to control it and just let it happen. Just
mm.
let it all happen.
So what would you say about the Mars in 11th then?
Oh, because Mars for me is people outside of your social circle. And
It is
and
in
you
the
have
house.
it in the
Yeah,
social circle. You have it in the house of social circle. So you're going to have connections with all kinds of people
yeah,
outside of your social circle, which is like
definitely.
what people see and what you have control over. You know, like you decide who is in your social circle and who isn't.
Yeah. And that's interesting that it also kind of ties in with those fishes on MC because of and
Right.
this Jupiter, you know, because it's also connecting people from different circles. And
Yeah.
I also always remember I had a party, like when I used to have parties, I always invited people from like all walks of life, older, younger, you know, they didn't know each other. They sometimes knew each other, some of them knew each other, but it was always interesting for me to like, yeah, have people from different circles to meet and to,
I like doing that too. I
yeah,
like connecting my friends to other friends. Like,
yeah,
because, that's how the world works.
yeah.
Connections.
All right. So, do you want to add anything to this, or should we just anything else to the reading? I hope people got like just a sense because it's not this typical oracle
Yeah,
that you would. Okay, so maybe one
right.
more question. Maybe
I
it
mean, you
is.
could,
Yeah,
you could. I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't take all the picture cards out, shuffle them all up, and just pull one,
yeah.
or get out the lunar cards for the month and just, see what you have. It's like
Could you do
I right,
lunar cards and then pull more cards from the same deck, like, and just put
sure,
them for the lunar phases? Yeah,
yeah. Or you could do the whole year if you wanted to. Just lay it out and see how
12
it
months.
goes. Yeah,
Yeah. So you can use it on many different levels. You can, if you into astrology and if you're geeking on astrology like we do, then you can like, yeah, use it as a chart and just a visual. And I'm like,
right,
yeah, it does bring different things and different flavors in. And image always
right.
kind of, that's what I noticed, you know, in those spiral readings, the true sidereal readings, that when I use image, like it makes it different, like it makes it more visual. I
Yeah,
think
it
people start
it does.
reacting to the reading in a different way a little bit because like even now when you pulled your cards, that like different things come to mind that you know didn't come before. So it's
Right.
interesting
And
that
there's lots of different visuals that can happen and layering in. You might want to like take all the cards and just read through the ages in on a house. I mean, that could be like if you're dealing with house issues or whatever, you might want to just do a reading with houses and see, the house of house or home or whatever communication if you need to like work on something with communication. I want to take all the communication cards and just go through and see what you need to know. And I don't know. I think it's endless, like possibilities.
Yeah.
And as long as you don't
But it's
mind,
always good to
like,
mention a couple for people who have no
right.
fantasy. No, I'm joking, guys. You all have great imagination. We know that.
You have no imagination. Here's some ideas. No, I don't know. I have no idea like what else we could be doing. And I sort of didn't really know like what to do with them once they were done until I kind of showed my friend her Aries chart, and then I was like, oh, you know what I really could have used is the rising sign for her, and that would have given me the houses, and so
Yeah.
that, kind of evolved that way. And so yesterday I took them all out and thought, I'm just going to do my own chart and see how that is. And that was like crazy because I'm on a cusp on all kinds of levels, and the full moon is not in Aries, it's actually in Taurus. So it was just like crazy. I had to
Yeah.
get 3 layers with my own deck, with my
So
own chart.
did when I did the reading for you, because I'm using this midpoint method, was the moon in Taurus then? Do you remember? Or was it
It
still?
was my rising sign was 0 degrees Taurus, and the moon is in Capricorn. The
Ah,
moon was in
yes,
Capricorn
yeah.
for me.
Ah, okay.
And but the full moon of that month would have been
Ah,
in Taurus and not in Aries. So, the first quarter moon was in Capricorn, but by the time it got to be full, it was already in Taurus because, in a few days it would have been the sun would have been in Scorpio. Like a week later, it would have been in Scorpio with
you
my
lost
chart.
me.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Because I'm
No,
at
no,
the
I'm
end
just
of
trying to
Libra.
help you, but you know these moon
I'm at
phases
the
so
end.
well. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not that, yeah, I'm not connecting
Oh,
it.
sorry. Yeah. Moon
Yeah.
phases and what signs they're in have been my thing since Mahat.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
that's all in my brain.
Yeah. But you know what I love
Sorry.
about this, which I think you're such a great example of, that like you do something because you have this in need to do it, right? Like you felt like you want to do this oracle. You didn't even know how to, some people will create the oracle, they have a plan already. This is how it's going to be
Yeah,
used. The
no,
book,
no.
like you kind of have this.
This was kind of like, I want to know about precession. Let's just see how this works. Like I want to know like what was the energy of each of these ages. And if I did this, what would I find out? I mean, it's all kind of like this social experiment for me. And like let me just sketch this out and see what it looks like. And that's kind of how my brain works. And
You know
so
what we
you're
should
all
do,
along for the
Julie?
ride.
You should do
What now?
this group. Jonathan asked when are you going to do readings for people using it. But also I think, Julie, like what Melissa Lucia does now, she's creating like a vulva kinship kit, and it's based on animism, and also with her friend Amber they creating like the whole system for it, and she just invited like people to participate in like co-creation. So basically like she created like a workshop which lasts 6 months for people, like they pay for it but they get some stuff for it and so on. And like we meet every like twice a month I think, and we'll do like different journeys, or like basically like she's trying to see how the oracle, the kit can work for people in the best way while they're creating it. And
I
I thought
know, right?
interesting to have like a group of people who we could exchange charts, or like do like charts for one another, or like how can we use the oracle in different ways, and like share even the examples of how we understand our charts or something. I don't know, just like thought about it, that like she is doing it, extracting it from people, which would be awesome for you as well to like
Yeah.
see how people
Like,
can use it.
yeah, I'm thinking that once all the books are done and I'll do them individually, but then I'll probably put them all together. But then I might need an activity book, like at the end of all of this, like what to do with this, because at this point, that's still unknown to me. Like,
Yeah, like you did for
you know,
the like the workbook for
right.
the real
The
sky.
workbook. Well, I did the workbook at the same time, but then I did the workbook over when I had more people who wanted to do the workbook, but then they had questions and they had like here, this would make this workbook better. And then
Yeah.
I was able to make it better.
Yeah,
So
cool.
yeah, I could use some input.
Yeah,
Yeah,
people say it would be a great idea to have exploratory workshops or some, yeah, because I think that's
yeah. I do
like
plan
when
on
you
doing
create something big
readings.
like this, like even your own
Yeah,
brain,
it's
like it's hard to somehow like just like you need
like, how does
like
this all
feedback
fit?
or some kind of
Yeah,
interaction. Yeah.
yeah. Like even if we worked on like an age per, like an age, like one age, and well, what would that bring, and what does that look like, and how can we use this for divination to look back in time? And I think that might be a way to look back in time. And how do we read the energies of where the moons were in order to kind of divine a time period that we aren't clear on
Yeah,
by
that could
looking
be
at a
also
time
for
period
like
that we
past
are
lives
clear on?
readings, maybe, or
Right.
like
Yeah, exactly.
for personal kind of use.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, definitely. And I think just
exactly.
like practicing image, like putting an image to your energies from like when you were born, that's always like very
Yeah,
powerful.
yeah,
And we don't use
yeah.
like
And I,
we don't use Skype visually anymore. And even when you do any type of reading in any type of system, you don't really use many images. And I really personally can say that it makes a lot of difference. I wish I could I want to depict my tropical readings too, like I just want to do what I do for
yeah,
True Sidereal, and just the image makes so much difference. So like because you've done also the imagery for the cards, that's so helpful for me. And then when I use the realms, like like you said, the
yeah,
extension
that's
of the,
helpful.
I use it with Carni's deck as well, because she uses the 12 realms. So then the
Yeah, I love
Ophiuchus
that
and
idea.
Scorpio would be the realm of the gate, which is like so interesting as well. It so fits.
Yeah, I'd like to see you overlap this system with Carney's system and see
Yeah.
what you get with that. Just
Yeah,
see what the
and with this one,
what
yeah,
that
that would be
connections were.
interesting to like do the realms on top of it. Yeah, that would be very interesting. Oh, I need to
Yeah,
get
because
Barney
it's a
on.
layer,
Yeah, maybe with three of us can
another
get
layer.
together. Totally, totally, yeah. Do you guys have any questions for Julie? Because I think we're going to maybe slowly
Yeah.
wrap up, even though like I don't have to, just in case. Julie, is there anything else that you think you can like add? And like how people would go about it? Because if somebody says like, so what now I have to buy like 12 sets of decks, 12 books, like they can buy 12
I think you
sets.
could get by with just your sun sign and your rising sign to start. I mean, if you're a practitioner, I would just get it in bulk because then you can have them all and just, you can put them in little bags if you want to because they're not very big. Just
Yeah,
those little organza bags would hold them. And I think, I don't know, I think they would be good for a practitioner to
yeah. For
have
people who like are
part of
into
their
astrology,
repertoire.
or for like
I
people
plan on
who are
doing
passionate.
I plan on doing readings at this event that I'm going to be going to in October just to like practically use it for practical purposes, just to do people's charts. Like I'll just look up like I did yours.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't take an hour.
Sorry,
I might
guys.
get quicker at this. Will I get quicker at this? No.
But I think maybe we can catch up again after you like practiced more, like practically, like with the deck, because I think new things will probably come to you because it seems
Definitely.
like really new and
Yeah.
like you still also in this like discovery
Yeah,
phase.
and this thing is still in the birth canal,
Yeah,
really.
yeah,
The books
which
are
is
not even
cool.
finished yet.
Yeah,
So,
but it's really
you know,
cool. Like that's what I kind of was saying. That's like you have this trust in what you do. This is so like admirable, and like that's very inspiring for me because often we doubt, like, oh, nobody does it. Like even if nobody doesn't matter, but like you kind of start doubting yourself and oh, how will this, like you kind of try to figure it
well,
all out.
admittedly, I put it away for a year saying I didn't have to do this. I don't have to do this. And then Mercury retrograde in 2021 during December, I thought, I wish I had more moon cards. And then I thought, wait, I still have places in the oracle that need to be filled. Should I make them moon cards? And then it was like, yes, I should make the moon cards. And then I dove in back in again, and it just became a thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like these projects have a life of their own,
Yeah.
and they unfold. And I'm, just like I get inspired to just see it. I want to see it. I want to try this. So
Yeah. And Jonathan
yeah.
asking when the full set will be available. So the cards are available now.
Yeah, the full
That's
set, the
true.
full bulk set is available on Printer Studio. Um, I have a link on my website. You can click on my website
But
and
not
you
when
can
you're in
find it.
Europe,
It's at
because
Printer Studio.
when
Yeah,
you're
if
in
you
Europe,
can get to
you
Printer Studio, you could do a search for the
yeah.
Real Sky Astrology Oracle of the Great Year, or my name. My stuff will all come up because I have a
Or
little
on
shop
Lulu.
on printers.
On
And
Lulu.
Lulu has the books. Lulu has my books, and but the
Ah,
cards are all on Printer Studio.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. All right. So Printer
yeah,
Studio cards are ready. Books, some of the books are ready, not all of the ages yet, but
yeah.
most of
We're up
them.
to Gemini. We're up to Gemini.
Yeah.
Peter's editing Cancer, and all the rest of them are they're written, but they're just not edited. So
Yeah.
it's hard slog.
And Jonathan also
The editing.
volunteers his chart for your practice, Julie. So if you want
Okay,
more guinea pigs, get in touch with him.
right. Set up
All
a
right.
date,
Well, so
Jonathan.
this is, I think, just like introductory. As you guys can see, this is like whole process going on, and I think this, like, yeah, it's interesting, and it's something totally different. Like
Yeah,
nobody has done
definitely
anything
different.
like this.
Nobody has done a
Yeah,
precession anything. Like,
yeah,
I mean, people are doing precession, but they're not making cards about it. This is the first pack
yeah,
of cards about precession, just to
yeah,
get the whole idea out there and get people looking up, because we all have our apps. We all have our astronomy apps, and why, we need to look at the real sky. And here's another way and another reason to look at the real sky
yeah, yeah,
and
exactly,
get the
exactly.
energy.
I don't know. I like that looking at the real sky has changed my perception of things so much. It's incredible. I can highly like encourage everyone to, if you like astrology, to go out and look. And I'm still doing all the systems. I'm like totally like I learned so much about tropical. I learned so much about like I really like appreciate all of them, and I find the weak spots in each one of them and the good sides of each. But like real sky is the original fucking ancient visual method that we all
Yeah,
have in our
it's so
DNA.
clear. It's so
Yeah,
clear that all you really need are the planets. You don't really
yeah,
need all of the other minutia. You don't. You don't have to be dependent on degrees or anything. It's just right there. It's like
yeah.
alive and easy.
Yeah, but you the eyeballer, I the measurer. I like my degrees. Frick.
You're a measurer. I'm an eyeballer. If you're an eyeballer, you'll enjoy this.
I'm in
Yeah,
between. I'm in between.
yeah.
I actually do enjoy that, you know, like I'm maybe because I was used to it. That's how I was taught. So there might be also
Sure.
something is like unteaching yourself, but in some ways, you know, the degrees like help me to like plan things as well if I want
Yeah.
to, or there is just
Yeah.
something about it that like makes me go, okay, but like I like it. My brain likes this kind of, maybe that's the
Yeah. Well,
subtle, I don't know.
but that's how you're getting your information. Those degrees are part of that your dialogue with spirit.
Yeah,
And so, that's okay. I mean, a lot of people use elements when they're working
yeah,
with readings, and I don't do that anymore either. But, you know,
yeah,
that's individual language. If you have a language, like each one of my decks of cards was my telephone to whatever at the
yeah,
time.
yeah,
And I've upgraded my system every time I go through. I get a different level or a different, more detail or more.
yeah,
And so, it's just an upgrade for me. And I did this for my own need to
yeah,
see. And
yeah.
I've invited you all to come along.
Yeah, I, for example, now want to really explore fixed stars. I think, like, like when it started, like that, I call it my revolution, when we first time met, like, I don't know, it was 2 years ago or something, or a year and a half, something like that. Probably about 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like I'm still in the process of figuring out how I'm going to do my astrology next. Like I think it's
Yeah.
coming, like I'm like, because I do like constellations, but I think fixed stars now for me are so much more fascinating because the constellations change depending on culture, depending on where you are on Earth, or these people see whale, these people see fox, like Slavic people saw totally different things, like
Well, it says so
whatever.
much about the culture, you know.
Exactly.
It's like a window to the culture, and I think that's really, really cool and important.
It's
And
fascinating.
when I went back all the way to the age of Vulture, what came through were the Orishas.
Yeah.
All
I
of
have to show the
Aminath's
cut.
Orishas came through.
How interesting, because
And
I cannot stop thinking about this cut whenever you say vulture. I
yeah,
just see Aminat and
yeah, I
how
know.
what? Where
Like
is
she was, it was one of her interviews where she's talking about money
what
being water
one is
and
this
money.
one?
Yes, yeah,
The
the
oh,
vulture. And that's when I
I
started
love
thinking
this.
about Sagittarius as the vulture. And when all of those Orishas came through while I was doing the age of Sagittarius, I wrote to her and I said, "Can I use these?" And she was like, "Of course, use them. Oh my gosh, use them." So she wrote the foreword for my book for the age of Vulture.
Oh, she did. So cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I'm just looking like what did she say in her book about it? The vulture never dies young, Yoruba proverb. And she says that it's 3 a.m. I remember when she was saying that she had like the out of body
I
experience
yes,
with this, right? A big vulture perches on a tree limb next to her head, while on the opposite side, a translucent hand reaches out to her. Igun represents assistance from a high place and dreamscape. Igun the vulture is a symbol of EME and is thought to be a great priest turned bird. As menacing as Igun appears, she never attacks. They simply help nature by feasting on dead corpses. Blue is the color of communication. The hand represents support and elegance. Igun represents accession to a higher spiritual level. So break down defenses against vulnerability, unexpected assistance from a high place. And it is a symbol for EME, like you just said. So yeah,
yeah,
interesting.
it's just yeah, I love it. I love what happened. It was so serendipitous because I had, no idea what was going on during this ice age period. Like what and for those orishas to align up with the signs and their out and where they were on in a chart with it was just it was phenomenal. And so I felt like this culture is really old. Her culture is really old. It's ancient, ancient, ancient.
Yeah,
So from the beginning of human beings.
yeah, exactly. And it's interesting how, I always had this sense whenever I was using your decks that you hated Sagittarius because you always had this like the funny images for the Sagittarius. They were never
Yeah,
very like,
Sagittarius, the hero villain. Well, think about that. Like eating corpses is kind of like, it's the dispersal of the old and getting into the new and sort of reassembling the tiny particles, like
yeah,
helping to distribute these particles into new energy. Like
I love
it's
this one.
huge change.
It's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah, I do too. That was very meaningful for me as well.
Oh,
Yes.
Jonathan says, like, Kasha, have you studied Chinese astrology, elemental animals for the win? When I was just exposed to truth ideal, I ran from Western and dove headfirst into Bazi. Yeah, I like when I was talking to Julie, I said, I just want to have readings with everything, every other system. I think from what I read recently, Chinese astrologers, I think they have the biggest amount of data on stars, that they were very meticulous in actually noting the stars and marking the cycles. I find it fascinating. I just wish I spoke Chinese, because it's the translation sometimes it's so hard from the signs to, like, our like
Sure.
language. But yeah, Jonathan, I think it's fascinating. That definitely, I haven't studied it myself, but there's just something that hopefully will, I will have time to do. Now I'm really getting into the fixed stars, and I might just study this for a while, because I think I just want to restructure how I do readings as well, not just do separate tropical, separate true sidereal. I want to like fucking have a one big mama of a reading. When you get like you get your tropical, if you want to, you get your definite visual of where the planets were in what constellations, but more specifically what fixed stars were activated as well for you. And yeah, there is just something with the like, how you feel this, like there's something nudging you to the direction. So I had that
Yeah.
direction,
Yeah.
because I could have changed for sidereal. Why did I go through sidereal? Why did I find the tiniest little group of people who were doing true side? You know what I mean? Like,
This
it's
tiny little group.
because it's true. You speak to people and you go like, what the fuck is true sidereal? Everybody knows what sidereal is. Like now, like you always get this
Yeah.
comment, but like I was drawn to this particular one because it was the truest visual representation
Yeah.
of the sky.
It's that
And
Saturn on top of my Mars. It's your Saturn on
yeah,
top of my
yeah.
Mars.
Totally. And like now I'm kind of like developing this feather, because there's so many holes as well in those little, in those systems. You either have to totally skip the um like future predictive kind of type of like measuring type of astrology, which I like. I don't want to get rid of it. That's why I still use tropical cycles, but I use it with the knowledge of what's actually happening in the skies as well. And I just think like fixed stars are cool like this, because you can, project them somehow on the ecliptic. I still don't know how I'm going to do it. You have this parans, which Bernadette Brady speaks of. I'm like I'm again like, fixed stars dive. That's going to be my next, and then we'll see what emerges from that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's that lovely moon you have. The serendipity.
Maybe then Chinese. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. Benabel is writing a Bazi book. Oh, I didn't know. Cool.
Oh, she's always working on something.
Yeah. And she's also like,
Annabelle.
she's got the brain of like, oh my God.
She does. Oh my God.
She's like, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, she's
yeah,
measured for sure, but
she's
also
intense,
yeah, she has this depth of
thorough.
knowledge, like crazy how your brain can handle all this information. It's very wow. All right. I
Yeah.
think,
All right,
Julie, anything
love.
else that you would like to add, or should we
Um,
call it?
no, I think we've covered pretty much. That's a lot to cover. And
Yeah,
thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about this.
always.
It's my first time having them all together. So
Yeah.
you're the
Wow.
first to premiere this. 'Cause
Woohoo.
I haven't
Like I
even premiered it.
always, yeah, I'm always inspired by you. And especially sometimes because you do things differently than, that how I would do them. And I'm thinking, wow, like I love how you do things. I wish I could sometimes just do it like this. Just like go for it. So I always, yeah, I love that. And plus, Julie, like, wow, like the amount of heart and just this mama energy, which I'm saying it like a really the most positive way there is, that you give to this community, is just like I love it. Whenever you want to talk about
Yeah.
anything, I'm there for you. Like I want to share and
That's nice.
spotlight.
I
And
just want people to feel connected to the universe and to feel connected to who they are and
yeah,
know that everything is temporary and cyclical and it all
and not
just
fixed.
flows. Huh?
Yeah, and it's not fixed.
It's not fixed. It's growing and moving and changing and eternal and
Yeah,
temporary at the same time. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You're what? Okay.
What happened?
No, we were supposed to go somewhere and he's gonna camp.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you everybody who survived our poor preparation. Your children stayed, Julie. Your children stayed.
Thanks for staying, everyone.
Next time we're going to prepare ahead, maybe before we like start pulling cards and organize.
Well, I just didn't know like how to set everything up. I wanted to make sure I had, we were
Yeah.
supposed to get windows today, but that canceled.
Uh,
Otherwise, I would have had all of a sudden they were going to come today and they were going to do our windows because we're getting windows replaced. And that would have been crazy, but then they canceled. So
oh,
timing
that
was
meant to
good.
happen. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, everybody.
Oh,
Thank
thank you.
you,
Thank
Julie.
you, everyone, for coming.
And we'll speak to each other online anyway, but we can really think about, I still would like to do the Saturn class because I think that's an important planet because it's my rising planet.
Yeah, I do too. I'm a fan of Saturn myself.
And it's a great planet for tracking cycles. If you don't want to
Yes.
go into all the degrees and like blah blah blah, right? Like that would be something that maybe would be really useful for people as well, not just like a super duper deep astrological like cramming, but
Yeah.
like it's kind of quite easy and everybody can learn
Yeah.
from it.
I've
And I think
I've done classes on that before. So yeah, I'd be
yeah,
ready for that.
exactly. So maybe if anybody is interested, give us a shout out that, oh, good idea or something, and maybe we can organize something together because we keep talking about it, but since now I'm eyeballer as well, it might never
Yeah.
happen.
So we have to be three days in advance. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It has
Yeah.
to be like quick after we
Right, exactly.
we can't plan it for the next 3 months. No, it's happening next week. Who wants to join in? Join in. Yeah, maybe we'll do it this way. All right. Thanks, darlings. Thank you, Julie. I'm going to
Okay. All
switch off
right.
the
Thank
live
you.
here.
Okay.
Bye, everybody. Thank you